So those that actually keep up with this channel might remember a review of the movie Cam I did with a buddy of mine a few days ago. While we trashed the movie pretty hard, there was a segment in it where I brought up the film Perfect Blue by Satoshi Kon.
Every single comment I was seeing was trying to allude to Perfect Blue. You know, the anime film Perfect Blue by Satoshi Kon, which, I'm saying it right now, is one of the greatest horror movies of all time.
Well, I really wanted to sit down and lay out my thoughts on the film itself and explain why you should really give it a watch over something like Cam or the new Child's Play that came out. Especially since most horror movies coming out today, such as Cam and Child's Play, just seem so limp and lifeless by comparison. Now, for the most part, I am going to be vague on spoilers because while the film has been out for over 20 years, it's still stuck in the cult classic category, which means that not a lot of people have seen it, so it still feels wrong to go and spoil everything as though it's something as famous as The Exorcist. More than likely, because of its nature as an anime film is the reason why that just not a lot of people have seen it. Because dumbass moviegoers will shove popcorn down their fucking fat gullet for another green screen orgy of stormtroopers and lasers, but think that anime films are just cartoons made for children.
You're a fucking idiot. This needs to stop. Now.
Despite numerous examples that have proven the contrary, it's fucks like that that make studios try those retarded live-action adaptations like fucking Death Note and Your Name, which is going to suck ass. No, Johnny McMoviegoer just wants to praise Avengers Endgame for getting Spider-Man's fucking taint right, yet can't get it through their brain that animated doesn't immediately equate to Pixar. Because American studios can pump out adult animated films like Sausage Party and still have the balls to wonder why people don't take that genre very seriously.
Oh, Jesus, fuck! Oh, gummy skin! She's peeling me fucking stuff! Fuck!
Now, I have no doubts that most general audiences that try to watch Perfect Blue for the first time will have most of the movie fly right over their heads due to the unconventional storytelling and just extraordinarily dark subject matter. And before anyone tries to come out and call me an omega-brained smirk boy for addressing this, please understand that I read green text 10D stories for fun, and if that doesn't make someone retarded, I don't know what else will. But what matters here is the movie itself. So, Perfect Blue is about a Japanese pop idol named Mima who wants to shed her kid-friendly persona in the pursuit of becoming a mature actress. And the film follows her career change, all of the challenges that come with trying to create a whole new identity for yourself and just being as famous as she already was to begin with this new identity. Now, this might not sound that bad, just a basic celebrity story, but once again, this is being as light on spoilers as possible. See, this movie is best viewed like another Japanese horror classic, Audition, where the setup, while having glimpses of something dark and threatening, is relatively safe. In fact, Audition, for a very large chunk of the film, can almost be viewed as a very awkward romantic comedy until all the bad shit starts happening. But it is relatively safe until then. So both films work best when viewed as blind as humanly possible. Now, Audition's build-up is substantially larger than Perfect Blue's, where the former had a 2-hour runtime and the latter's only really about 90 minutes to tell the story. Perfect Blue's biggest strength is in its protagonist, Mima, as the film follows her journey, mental degradation, and just everything happening around her. And what I love best is that she isn't cruel or selfish or any other annoying trope to make her deserve what's happening to her, which is a really big issue with Western horror films in general. They try to make a morality tale, playing off the Grimm's fairy tale style logic of misbehaving children being punished by the supernatural. You might notice this if you watch franchises like Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street, where the wholesome virgin girl survives the nightmare, while the promiscuous drug-using kids all die. 99% of the time, this results in annoying cannon fodder, and you simply count down the seconds until you see them all die horribly. Perfect Blue instead chooses to allow its protagonist Mima to be dragged through the fucking mud for literal actual reason. She's set up as very kind, cheery, and just a naive girl entering into a world that does not care to keep her safe. So her only true mistake was underestimating how cold the adult world could actually be. The entire runtime is filled with just so much dread and anxiety. I swear, I have seen this movie at the very least 4 times, and each time I was holding my breath because certain scenes just build that tension and refuse to let it go. Satoshi Kon, the director, really understood how to use anime as a medium to his advantage, and every scene has so much detail and creativity packed into it. The animation studio is the legendary Madhouse, which made anime such as Black Lagoon, One Punch Man, Ninja Scroll, Paranoia Agent, and just countless others. They also made Satoshi Kon's other films, Paprika and Tokyo Godfathers, and I believe Millennium Actress, but I'm not sure if they were the same people. But all of them are highly recommended. Now, at this point, I'm going to need to dive into spoiler territory simply because I have to lay out just why I love this movie so much. It's crucial to discuss certain key scenes so you understand exactly what I mean. So everything from this point on is going to be spoilers for Perfect Blue. Please watch this film and come back in order to understand exactly what I'm saying. Alright, now I want to discuss what I feel is the central theme of Perfect Blue, what it all really revolves around. This is a film that wants the audience to discuss the symbolism and interpret as they wish. Is it as open as something like a Charlie Kaufman film? Personally, I really don't think so. There are definitely some ideas that are concrete and, I guess, literal, which is significantly more than something like Cinedoc New York, which is so dreamlike and open to interpretation that I feel like no 2 people can watch that movie and agree on just what the fuck that was about.
Brutal. Each day I'll hand you a scrap of paper. It'll tell you what happened to you that day. You felt a lump in your breast. You looked at your wife and saw a stranger, etc.
Caden,
What?
when are we going to get an audience in here? It's been 17 years.
No, Perfect Blue definitely has a set idea behind it. Now, this is just what I gathered from the film itself. I'm not gonna do that typical online reviewer thing where I point to a lamp in the background and relate it to something from the fucking Bible, since I don't think there's really anything like that. What can be interpreted is always put in front of you to look at. So what is Perfect Blue about? Sex. Specifically, sexual exploitation in the media. Perfect Blue is about the effects of sexual exploitation on the actors, viewers, creators, everyone involved with a piece of art. Now, this is something that the film was actually criticized for when it came out. Critics called it another dumb anime that threw gallons of tits and blood on the screen. This was the 90s, so everything was super violent and sexual, all across the board. Anime, western, whatever. It was the edgy period. And there were films such as Ghost in the Shell, which honestly used sex and violence very maturely, and the growing popularity of series like Berserk, which has graphic violence and sex, and even works by Go Nagai, the guy that basically built up a lot of the edgy anime shit we know with shit like Devilman and Getter Robo. But did critics want to be objective and look at every single film on a case-by-case basis? No, they decided to throw everything in one giant pile because it's anime, proving that movie critics have been worthless for fucking decades. If you could actually say with a straight face that Perfect Blue is using sexual exploitation unironically, then your mother fucking drank while she was pregnant with you. There are so many scenes that show the negative impact of mindless, brain-dead decisions made by the TV show executives, tossing in rape scenes for the sake of controversy, allowing Mima to be taken advantage of by a perverted photographer that essentially tricked her into doing porn, the very clear trauma that Mima experienced filming the rape scene. Nothing about Perfect Blue screams that they were shooting for dude bros that just want tits. The entire plot revolves around the negative consequences of mindless inclusions of rape and sex. Mima begins to have an identity crisis and has hallucinations from the psychological damage the rape scene caused her. Mimania, who's kind of built up as the central villain of the movie, you know who I'm talking about, the creepy fuck, and Rumi, the manager, murder the executive, writer, and photographer responsible for damaging Mima's reputation with their dumbass decisions. Hell, Rumi completely fucking snaps and tried to murder Mima for not being the real Mima, since the real Mima wouldn't leave her world as an idol and do these disgusting things. But I feel like the best piece of evidence for my point is actually in the rape scene itself. For context, since I know that some people completely ignored the spoiler warning and are watching without actually having seen the movie, shame on you, it's amazing, fucking watch it. But for context, the rape scene takes place on a television set. Mima is cast as part of a murder mystery drama where she plays the part of a stripper who's been raped on stage. The setup to this has Mima's manager fighting tooth and nail to keep her from doing the scene. Rumi, since obviously if you've seen the movie, you know the twist with her happens way fucking later, and if you haven't seen the movie, congratulations, you got spoiled on a major fucking aspect, but Rumi tried so hard to talk Mima out of this, to give her ways out, to say that they don't have to do this, and Mima chose to do it anyway because she wanted to be seen as mature. To her, it was the perfect way to shed her friendly, idle self completely. But just from the way the scene is set up in the strip club, you can see the discomfort on everyone's face. And this is not like live action, where obviously you can have a background actor decide to do his own thing, or a whole group of background actors decide to do their own thing, because maybe they thought this idea was better than what the director wanted, or tried to sneak something in. No, this is animated, meaning every single decision had to go through Satoshi Kon at some point. There was a very clear intent to have everyone look as though this was not their choice. And just from the way that you could see audio engineers in the booth joking about how they had to build a set because no strip club would ever allow them to film a scene like that in their establishment, and just the way that people look on in horror as the scene's filmed, to the point that even the fucking actor that plays the rapist attacking Mima apologizes to her in between takes. It beats you over the head with the idea that nobody wanted to do this, that it was dickheaded decision making by morons that wanted to throw in controversy for the sake of ratings. How anyone could look at a scene like that and miss something that blatant is kind of scary to me. Now, there are definitely other themes as well. Existentialism, mental illness, dissociative identity disorder, the price of fame, is it ethical to fap to Mima? These are all there, and fans still talk about them to this very day. And as a true Satoshi Kon staple, it also includes the idea that reality and imagination are starting to blend together. It's prominent. The sense of time is unclear, the story addresses things that shouldn't be real, but treats it as though they actually happened. And this can definitely make it difficult to keep track of if you're not paying attention. You really should not be texting while trying to watch, or you'll be super confused, especially if you watch it as it should be in the Japanese sub version. I don't like dubs, I'm making that clear. I didn't even bother watching the dub. This appears in just about every single anime he's ever worked on, from Perfect Blue to Millennium Actress to Paranoia Agent and Paprika. The only exception I can think of where there's a solid, I guess you could say, reality is Tokyo Godfathers, which is significantly more realistic and is honestly more reminiscent of something like a Coen Brothers film.
Smokey, my friend, you're entering a world of pain, Walter.
Sadly though, Satoshi Kon passed away in 2010 from pancreatic cancer. A man with such a talent for filmmaking and animation who made some of the most creative animes out there, taken way too soon. So I hope people find an appreciation for his films, since there's just such an unabashed love for the medium in every single one. They are really no holds barred in their storytelling, and anybody that's seen Paprika knows what I'm talking about. Paprika will fuck your brain into the dirt. And Perfect Blue really is no exception. It's definitely the most disturbing out of Satoshi Kon's career. A very uncomfortable experience that can be very difficult to watch at times, especially if you have some sensitivity issues in regards to rape and sexual violence in a story. But that's exactly what a horror movie needs to be. It needs to be hard to watch and creepy and honestly get under your skin, because not every single horror movie needs to be a fun slasher where you forget about it 5 minutes after the end credits, or a Blumhouse movie you sit through because you need to rant about something that weekend. There are moments that are going to stick with you and you really wish they didn't. But that's a sign of a good horror movie. You need to be creeped out and disturbed. Hell, even the main theme song of the film is hard to listen to, as though it's burrowing into your fucking brain. So please give this movie a watch if you love psychological horror movies, anime, or just really trippy as fuck movies that mess with your perception of reality. It's a master of all three, and I sincerely hope you guys enjoy it as much as I did. Alright, see ya.